welcome back to the Green Connection. I hope you've been watching us. Today we have something different. We've had Halloween go by, and now we have the rest of the holidays, Thanksgiving coming up, Christmas coming up. And what that means is anxiety and worried about everything being right and losing peace with yourself. So what we decided to do today for the show is to learn how to chill out for the holidays, become healthier, and feel better. As my guest, I have Nickole Swensen, and the name of her company is Be Well, Be Happy. Are you well and happy?
I hope so, yes. Yes.
What does well and happy mean to you?
You know what? It's a combination of eating healthy and trying to be as stress-free as possible during this time of year.
But that isn't really the kind of thing that you started out to do. I read that you, in college, you majored in fashion merchandising and actually did go ahead and practice it in Des Moines. You're from Des Moines, Iowa, right?
Yes, that's right.
And practice it there. And what made you shift your gears?
Well, I still love fashion, but I changed into, I wanted to be better. I wanted to feel better, and I wanted to figure out how I can make my life and my family's life a little bit healthier and happier. And so I went in to learn more about holistic nutrition and got my degree in mind-body wellness and work a little bit on food as well as stress relieving items.
And at that time, then, what did you do?
So I started out as nutrition, like a holistic nutrition coach, and I worked with people and made recipes that were healthy and just really worked on how to feel better from the inside out.
So do you think that feeling better from inside out, and you're, what, vegetarian or?
Yes, yep, and I'm vegetarian, my family's vegetarian. We haven't eaten meat probably in about 6 years, so.
And I think, what about dairy products?
We don't usually use dairy. We're strictly no meat, no egg, no fish. Sometimes dairy, but mostly not.
Cheat a little bit.
Yeah.
So what has this done to Be Well, Be Happy? It's made you well and happy, and it's made other people well and happy too?
Yes. I used to post a lot of recipes online and used a lot of mushrooms and soy and beans and healthier protein products that are easier for our bodies to digest than meat would be. So it's easier on our systems, so we don't feel as bogged down, and gives us a little bit more energy.
So then recently, and this is why I got you in the first place, recently you took a step higher, and I have a problem pronouncing this, auricultural.
Auriculotherapy, yep, auriculotherapy.
Auri is your ear, and the colo is culture?
So auriculotherapy, so auriculo is ear, and therapy is basically working on the ear. So I took it from focusing on food to one step higher and focusing on how I can, you can help from also, that I can help other people. So they can help themselves with food, and then I can help them with their, with other aspects using the ear.
What exactly is this auricultural therapy?
Auriculotherapy is reflex points on the ear, and the ear has every point of the body that goes through the ear. So if there's something that's
I didn't know that, really?
Yep. So if every part of the body, whether it's foot, liver, kidney, arm, nose, head, everything goes through the body, everything goes through the ear. And if there's a point in the body that needs help, or if it's feeling, out of alignment, there's a point in the ear that can help it.
How do you know which point is what? To me, the ear just looks like a big...
Right. So that's what I learned in school. That's what I learned in school. But it's noticing the different subtleties. There's different markings. If there's a markings on the ear, or each ear feels different. If there's something out of alignment with it, you can feel it in
You
the
have
ear.
I saw a picture, there's a tool or an instrument that you use. I think there's a picture of it also that they can show. It's very small, it almost looks like a pliers.
What that does is once there's something that needs maybe help, I will put that on the ear point, and what that does is it sends a vibration to that point in the body, and it helps to break up any energy that's kind of blocked, or anything that's kind of misaligned with it. It blocks that.
So does one touch with that instrument find everything and clean up everything, or just one thing? Or
Well, it depends. If you wanted to help everything, you'd have to touch all the points. So you kind of it's best for your body to just focus on one thing that you're trying to work on. So if it's a stress relief situation, there's many points that work towards that to get stress relief.
And just off the cuff, if someone can't hear very well, does it help does it open up the ear?
It can. There are ear points on the ear, and I can't say that it would help you to hear better, but it's worth a shot. I mean, it won't hurt. It won't hurt anything.
Okay, getting back to stress release. This is coming up with, like I said, the Thanksgiving, the Christmas, the shopping, the anxiety of having relatives who you love, but still having them all at one place at one time. How can you control that?
Well, you can start meditating now and prep yourself for not worrying about things that come up that may not go as planned, and kind of lets you have a little peace before it starts. I think the biggest thing is working on it before it happens, and not waiting until you're completely stressed out before you start working on stress relief.
Also, what about meditation and Zen? Does that?
Right. Yeah, meditating before the holidays and during. Most studies recommend about 20 minutes a day, and you can do that just in peaceful quiet, or you can have relaxing music on. Even some people even meditate while they're walking. It's called walking meditation, and you can just walk and be in nature and just kind of relax your mind a little, so that it's.
So what do you do? Drop everything out of your mind, or
Yep.
you try to?
You just try to think present thoughts. Try to think. I know that most of the time your mind keeps trying to bring you back to the things that upset you or negative, and what you want to do is just really try your best to be present and relax, and just kind of think about what's going on right at this moment, and think about your breath, and think about your surroundings, and maybe listen to the music and hear just calming noises, just to kind of get you in the mindset.
Can you apply that before going to bed?
Yes. It's actually doing it either before bed or right when you wake up is one of the best things, because our brains are more apt to change at that time. And so when you're thinking peaceful thoughts, you can wake up with peaceful thoughts, and you can start the day on a higher note.
Well, that's
Yeah.
And Zen. I did some research on Zen, and incidentally, my maiden name is Zen, and I found that it originated in China and then was picked up in Japan. What actually is the study of Zen? Is that part of what you do?
Well, that is really meditation is the epitome of Zen. It relaxing your mind and having just peaceful thoughts, and trying not to dwell on all of the stressful moments and things that don't go right, and kind of trying to bring yourself back to what's going good and what's peaceful about right now.
Yeah, the literal definition of Zen in Japanese is no problem. So
Exactly.
That's
Yep. Exactly.
So what do you in Des Moines do they have? Is that these different applications of Oreo? Do they have other people there that do it? Because you said in San Antonio there is no one.
Yeah, it's a form of, so acupuncture uses needles and auriculotherapy just uses
So it's
pressure
related
points.
to acupuncture?
It has similar effects from like acupuncture, but I don't use needles and don't have the acupuncture training. But it's just reflex points, and there's not anyone in Des Moines that does it, but there are acupuncturists that can do different points in the ear.
So that would be the auriculotherapy would be a part of the acupuncture?
Yeah, it's a
Didn't
different.
they learn that?
It's a similar, yes. I think it's a further training for them, but it's the same idea. I just work with the ears, and acupuncturists work with the whole body, and sometimes work with the ears too.
So to find, as you do with the ear, all these different parts of the body, with the acupuncture, is that what do they start with the ear also?
Acupuncturists, I think, work mainly with the body and the meridians, whereas I work just with the ears. And I think they can work with the ears, but I think they focus just on the body itself.
That's interesting. How long does it take to become a specialist?
I went to school for 2 years for mind-body wellness as a whole. I've taken a few courses outside of that as well, and lots and lots and lots of reading and research on my own, and putting it into practice on myself and my family.
Do you have any examples of people that changed their life, or
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting. I've had people come just for stress relief, and working just with the ears, we've been able to help them, relieve some of their stress and their anxiety. I've had a lady come in, and she had arthritis in her hands, and that helped to relieve some of the swelling.
Yeah, I think we had before and after. It cleared up the wrinkles. How does it do for the face?
Well, it looks like the wrinkles, but it's actually it was the swelling, so it helped to reduce some of the swelling in her hands, and which was due to arthritis. So, yeah, it helps. It helps just a variety of things that.
I don't. How all these things are connected to the ear. Does it make any difference which ear?
With the left side of the body is usually like our energetic side. The right side is like a physical side. So if we're talking about a physical ailment, say your knee hurts or your elbow hurts, I would work on that side. But a lot of times, if it's stress relief or stress or anxiety, it would be the left side, because it's more of the energetic and kind of emotional side of how our bodies work.
So, if you're in a place that does not have this practice available, then it would just be the.
I would check into an acupuncturist and ask them about specifically working with the ears. You can also massage your ears, and that helps. Just
how do you massage your ears?
Just kind of rubbing your ears, and helping to kind of release any pain. Just it helps to kind of let everything go, unblock it.
Okay, the other segment is the food, and I think you have a blog of a recipe blog. What is the name of your blog?
Well, it's just on my website. I don't update it as much as I used to, but I do post recipes, and it's just on my website.
And what's the website?
bewell-behappy.com.
Bewell.behappy. Yeah. That's good. Okay, vegetarian eating. A lot of people say, "Ooh," including me. What exactly is the difference, and how can you adjust to changing? And what does then that do for your body?
Sure. Well, being vegetarian was scary at first. Everyone thinks you eat salads, and I actually don't really care for salads very much. There's a lot of different options for your protein per your meal. I know we're in Texas, so meat is a big thing here, but there's great alternatives that use soy protein or beans or different kind of tofu and vegetables that make it feel like you're not missing out on anything.
Yeah, meat substitutes, and that was something that I sort of worked with, thinking about vegetarian, knowing I was going to do this show. Looked up some, I think it's Morningside that has vegetarian meats. Okay, so I cooked up some, and I have here a meatball. Looks like any other meatball. What is this meatball? Let's cut this up and see what's inside of it. It looks like a meatball inside too. What is in it?
I believe that has a form of soy and vital wheat gluten, which is a protein, which is a very high protein flour. And when you mix them together and add the spices, it really has that same texture as
Is that what
meat.
gives it the texture?
Yep, and the flavor too. With liquid smoke and that, it can really make it feel and taste like you're eating meat. But it's so much better for your body and for the environment to not have to produce the meat. So it saves a lot of water, conserves a lot of water compared to raising cattle or other forms of meat. So,
what about the vitamin and protein content of the vegetarian? Does it equal or exceed?
Usually the protein is the same or exceeds
really?
it. Yes.
So that flour then is
the flour. So there's so many things that have protein in them. Tofu has protein. The flour, beans.
What is the flour?
It's called vital wheat gluten. Vital wheat gluten, and you can buy it at any like Whole Foods or Natural Grocers, Trader Joe's type of specialty store. So.
And then you mix it because it. Okay, let's look at the chicken. Give this little cut here. It cuts like chicken. It looks like chicken inside. What is that? Is that the same?
It's a similar thing, and really what it is the seasoning that you add to it to change it to taste like meatball or sausage or chicken. We eat a lot of those at my house. They're just a lot better for your body. They're easier to digest. Vegetarian options for protein and food go through your body easier, and it's harder on your digestive system to get it broken up and utilized than meat. So it's easier to digest, and it's the same or better nutrition quality.
And we have sausage, which has a little different grain to it, but it tastes like sausage?
Yes, yep. It tastes just like a breakfast sausage that you have with pancakes. And I would be very surprised if somebody could tell the difference of those because they have such the same texture and flavor.
How do you feed them?
Well, with things like that is a really easy transition. It is hard at first. You're used to a certain way of eating, and when you can't make burgers and steaks and that like you used to, products like that help make it easier for the family to transition to vegetarian and make it healthier for themselves and their family and not have to feel like they're missing out on anything.
So it's like a training session for a baby. You start them out small.
Yeah, both my kids, they've been vegetarian most of their lives, so they don't know much of a difference, but it's nice to be able to give them corn dogs and hot dogs and stuff like that. So
yeah, they're coming. I noticed that in the grocery store because when I knew I was going to do this, I looked to see, and the corn dogs are comparatively new because I don't remember seeing those.
They have.
It seems like it's the what is being offered is a lot more than what they had in the past. Is it becoming more common now?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that people are realizing how good they taste, and they're healthier, and they're better for the environment. So it's kind of a win-win. The only thing is harder sometimes to go out to eat, not finding something that you can order sometimes. But cooking at home is really easy. There's so many products.
Well, black beans. Now I tried. In fact, I made a meatloaf with black beans and smashed them up. So there are some things that you can eat that you're used to, like the black. Any bean, I guess, is good.
Yes. Yep. They have tons of fiber and protein, which when you're comparing it to meat, meat just has protein, and with beans they have fiber and protein, so it's just easier on your system to digest, which makes you feel better, makes you healthier,
well and happy.
and well and happy.
Okay, I looked up some recipes in one of your blogs, and it seems like you use mushrooms a lot for, as a
Yes.
meat substitute.
Yes, they're great, very low calorie, low fat, great sources of vitamin D that you can't get on most other foods, and they're really easy to work with. When we lived here in Texas, I used Kitchen Pride mushrooms.
Yeah, I see it. A chicken fried steak, which is actually mushroom.
Right.
Okay, how do you get the steak flavor?
The liquid smoke is your best friend.
Really?
Yes, it adds that smoky flavor without any added meat or sauce, so it's really good.
So I was looking at the recipe. It looks like a vegetable broth, liquid smoke, a cup of baby bella mushrooms, otherwise cashew milk. Is that that's another topic? All these different milks: cashew, almond. What's the other one? Soy. What is the difference? And if you don't drink dairy cow milk, which of these is the best, or are they the same?
They are all very different, and so if you're cooking and you want something thicker, you'd use soy or coconut milk or cashew milk. They're all three thicker, and so it's great for baking, or if you want something to be really rich.
Does it have a flavor?
They all taste different. They have different flavors like chocolate and vanilla, but if you're just doing the original, they all do taste different, and they bring a different texture to the meal. If you're just drinking it plain, vanilla is really good, and it tastes like kind of like milkshake.
Well, do you get the original then? Because I noticed it says original and sweetened and vanilla.
Well, if you're just drinking it plain, vanilla is good because it has more of a flavor. If unsweetened, it's less sugar than dairy milk, and they don't really have a lot of flavor, but it's a great alternative if you're putting it in your cereal or coffee.
So you can use cashew and almond. It doesn't taste like cashews and almonds?
Not really. They have their own distinct flavor. Cashew is a thicker, and it's better if you're baking and using it for a thicker, like gravy or something that's heavier.
And I see I have a recipe here for taco. Again, with mushrooms instead of the ground meat.
Yes. Yep. And it's so much cheaper to buy mushrooms to feed a family of 4 than it would be to buy a pound of meat for the tacos. It's cheaper and much healthier.
So do you have to mash them, or?
You just dice them up really small and add the seasonings like you would normally do, and just kind of brown them up a little bit on the skillet. And
What about adding a little steak sauce?
yeah, you can add steak sauce, and then it would taste more like steak.
Okay, we've got the holiday coming up, Thanksgiving, and I see you have a recipe for a Thanksgiving dinner, which includes, well, the stuffing is no problem.
Right.
Except, well, you can even add the sausage.
Yep, and you would just add, instead of like chicken or beef broth, you'd add vegetable broth, yep.
And so and also then what do you do for the turkey?
You can use any of the frozen like Morningstar products, or you can make with mushrooms. You can do mushroom steaks and add gravy over the top.
Yeah, what do you do for gravy? Because you don't use.
You just it's pretty simple.
what I do is open the can of mushroom soup.
Yeah, you know what? It's really simple. Just a little mushroom with some butter, and there's non-dairy butter and.
So the non-dairy, I've not ever seen that.
There's a lot of different brands that just don't use. They use like olive oil or coconut oil.
Would a margarine be?
Sometimes they use dairy still, like with milk.
Oh, and you can't use it.
But doing like a little roux with milk or with butter and milk thickens it up, and then you can just add like a vegetable broth and some mushrooms and seasoning. It's tastes just the same.
Okay, these recipes are online, I believe.
Yes.
If somebody wanted to cook a vegetarian Thanksgiving dinner, where would they find these?
Well, you can go to my website, or if you're looking for something really specific, you can just type it into Google and add vegetarian to it. And there are so many options with people that post great recipes, and they're so easy to do, and they take much less time than waiting for the turkey.
So, what you get from this is surprise your family when they come for Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner, and give them a vegetarian meal and see if they can tell the difference. What about exercise?
I love to get outside and do hiking and walking. That's more relaxing to me than going to the gym. But I love to walk, and I love to hike, and getting any form of exercise will be helpful for you to have a more peaceful mind during this time of year, and really just to get fresh air. It's really helpful to making you feel less stressed and anxious.
And what about weight gain or loss due to going vegetarian?
If you're eating healthier, like a vegetarian, usually you will lose some weight. The biggest thing is a lot of times if you're buying a lot of processed foods like those, they can have a lot of sodium and maybe higher calorie and fat
So the
content.
processed foods are not as good as if you did them yourself.
Those are great transition foods, but they're not something that I eat on an everyday basis, just because of the sodium and the calorie content are a little bit higher. But they're great transitions, and if you're really craving chicken nuggets, then they're easy to do than they would be to make at home.
What about sugar?
Sugar. We're pretty balanced with sugar we eat. I really don't look at sugar as much as I look at making things less processed and healthier. I cook most of the things that we eat from scratch, and so it's easier to I have 2 kids, so we eat a lot of sugar for cookies and cakes, but but everything is from scratch, so I know exactly what's going in it, and I can adjust it and make it a little bit less sugar if I want to. But knowing that it's all from scratch and handmade, it makes it better for our systems. It recognizes it.
Well, we're out of time. This is Nickole Swensen. Tell them what you are.
Auriculotherapy specialist.
Thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for
being with the Green Connection. Happy Thanksgiving. See you next month. Bye-bye.